Alright everybody, welcome to your weekly astrology video. This is the second video of the day. The second Cosmic Sky podcast of the day. I posted a lot yesterday only because things came up, but this is the next video. And, I did happen to end that video. And what happened was I ended the last video and it didn't necessarily save in my listing of audio recordings. I saved it, I titled it, I saved it, then I didn't see it, then I opened the app up again, and then I saw it. So, I don't know. It's probably just a fluke. Anyway, I want to get into, with Pluto retrograde, you really can't, you really can't repress the stuff, the anxieties, the shadows that come up. Pluto retrograde is just going to dig it right up. And, it's like you have to confront it, you have to deal with it. And this Pluto retrograde has been particularly intense for me in my life. It has been digging up some shadows, and the Sun-Mercury Cazimi yesterday in Taurus brought up, the clarity when it comes to my values of my life, and you can check that in the Real Me podcast of my plan for life, which is not set in stone, by the way. It'll probably be a little bit different, but that's kind of the basic thing. I will have support with getting around and, certain things. I think that I should be in good hands enough when I get to that point. But, so it's been really digging up that to my awareness, and I had the clarity yesterday, of certain things. Sun-Mercury conjunctions are moments of intellectual clarity. Like with the Sun conjunct Mercury, you're not clear on something, and then boom, you get clear. You get very like you're confused about something, you're not with it, and then boom, ideas, downloads, resolutions, revelations come in, and the clarity comes. So anyway, that's great. Anyway, this week we have Mars, the planet of action and assertion and drive. It's what fuels you. It's how you go after your goals, how you pursue your goals, how you live for this life in a very masculine way, and how you individuate yourself from others is also Mars, because Mars is a separation principle. It is in the sign of Taurus from May 18th to June 28th of 2026. I don't have the dates written down, but I did look them up, and those were what the dates were. So I'm telling you that very honestly. So Mars and Taurus creates this very determined dynamic. With Mars, you are driven. With Mars and Taurus, you are persistent. You are determined to go after your goals, but not in an aggressive, chasing down and aggressive way, like chasing after these goals and doing all of this. No. It's more cautious. It's more slow and steady. And so you're determined to go after your goals, and you're very stubborn. Taurus is very stubborn. And Taurus as a sign is fixed. Earth. And fixed signs have a will to them. Fixed signs, it's like, I have a will to keep going, and I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up on this. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to, just stop what I'm doing. I'm going to keep going. And fixed signs are in it for the long end. There's a stubbornness. That stubbornness can also carry with it some shadow sides, but anyway. Mars and Taurus goes along in patient ways. It's very patient to go after its goals. It doesn't want to rush things. Like Mars in Aries just rushes and Mars in Aries wants it as quick as it possibly can get it. It doesn't want to wait. It wants to go full speed, head first, full on, achieve the goal with absolute enthusiasm and passion and drive. And Mars in Taurus understands that it's a marathon and not a sprint. Mars in Taurus understands that in order to achieve your goals, you have to be patient and slow and steady. And Taurus is about enjoying the process of getting there. That's what Taurus means. It's about enjoying the journey of getting from one place to another, from getting to point A to point B, because you can't just be in one place and then just jump to, a whole nother place. It is about really, really enjoying how you're actually getting there. So it's very, very stubborn in those kind of ways, and it's very, very patient. It's really, really patient. Now with Mars and Taurus, we are focused on what we want for the long term. We're not interested in short-term bills to pay or the market to go to buy our groceries. We're not interested in, building a relationship that's only going to last 3 months. We're interested in something long-term. Something, for the long-term run of it, the long-term success of it. So, we're interested in that long-term thing when it comes to our goals, and we're interested in what is sustainable, what can last for the longest time. Because Taurus is really about something that's long-lasting, or, Taurus and Capricorn want to create something long-lasting and something stable. Virgo just wants structure and routine and all that. But it's mutable. It's more ungrounded than, Taurus and Capricorn are incredibly grounded. Virgo is just practical and logical, but not necessarily the most grounded, because it's mutable Earth. Virgo is the air Earth sign. But we're not here to talk about Virgo. We're here to talk about Taurus energy and what it's really about. So the thing with Mars and Taurus, Mars is considered detriment in the sign of Taurus, because if Mars is, because it's opposite the sign that Mars rules. Mars rules Scorpio. And Mars in Scorpio it cuts right to the truth. But not only that, when it latches on to something that it desires, and something that it wants so badly, something that has such a passion for, it will go to the ends of the earth to achieve it in a very, very intense and obsessive way. But Mars and Taurus can easily get stuck, because Taurus is also, worse this placement can be, in a natal chart, found in a natal chart, this can be somebody who gets stuck in, in something, in a routine, and, a certain place is not really, moving beyond that. And Mars and Taurus can get stuck. It can struggle to move because it gets so, in the weeds of it that, it just, can get lazy, and, in the food, the music, the simple pleasures of life, it can, struggle to get its momentum going. I think Mars and Taurus is slow and steady. Like the mantra for Taurus and Taurus North Node is, I'm not there yet, but I will get there eventually. I just have to keep slowly and steadily putting in the work and trusting that you will do that naturally. Trusting that inside your very mind, inside your intuition, inside your soul, you will do that. You will do that. It will happen. It will be reality, and you'll take action on it. So we can get stuck in our ways and not know the right way out of what we are doing with Mars and Taurus. What this means is, if you heard that, then sorry. We can get stuck in. Sorry, I don't have any shoes on right now, so you're probably hearing the sound of my chair making noises. But, we can get stuck in our ways and not seem to find the right way out of that. Not seem to find the solution out of that. Where we don't have as much drive with Mars and Taurus. Hard to get going. Mars and Taurus is very, very difficult to get going. It sort of needs a push, like it needs somebody. Mars in Aries is on the bike and it just goes independently, just goes out of initiating on its own. Mars in Taurus is different because it needs somebody to push it along. It needs the forces of the Earth to push it along at times because it struggles to get its momentum going. It struggles to get going and actually push itself and motivate itself to get going because Taurus is slow and at worst lazy. So, but with Mars and Taurus, once we get going, once we're focused in a particular direction, focused on a particular task, we are persistent in that task. We are persistent in doing that thing. We are driven towards making that thing happen for ourselves. We find a goal and we continue to work and we don't give up. Mars and Taurus does not give up. It stays in it till the end. It works and works and works towards it. Now, we can be slow and steady in our approach with Mars and Taurus. We can be very, very slow and steady. And by the way, this video is part 1. Part 2 with Mars and Taurus for the 12 zodiac signs will be coming tomorrow. I'll do Mars and Taurus for all 12 signs tomorrow. And so we can be slow and steady in our approach. With this placement or this transit, we're not very, very fast. We understand that, like the tortoise, and to think of the tortoise and the hare, Aries is the hare, Taurus is the tortoise, slow and steady wins the race. And so if we can be very, very slow and cautious and all of that, and do things one step at a time as opposed to rushing and taking our time, taking things slow, putting one foot in front of the other, then we find a lot of good. Now, Mars and Taurus can be pretty resistant to change also. Extremely resistant to change. Taurus doesn't like change. Taurus likes the stable comfort qualities, because it's about stability. It needs security, and it needs stability, and it needs the same because it wants to feel secure, it wants to feel materially comfortable, and changing things up, going in new directions, changing up your life, changing the way that you're going is not necessarily comfortable to change. It's hard to change. It's hard to get out of our comfort zones. And Taurus knows that because Taurus lives in that and refuses to get out. It takes a lot for them to change. It's like they change, but increment by increment by increment, they make slow and steady change. And Taurus, don't tell a Taurus to change, and don't force a Taurus to change, because they're going to dig in their heels and they're going to be stubborn and resist. But if they feel that it is absolutely right to do that, they will do that. They will absolutely make that effort to change. And so we can find ourselves being very, very resistant to change. So can we, just learn to flow and give ourselves groundedness and stability while we are flowing with life? Taurus can be so fixed that it actually can be egoic, not connected to its intuition, and not connected to the flow of life. Taurus doesn't always tap into the flow of life. So during this time, can we tap into the flow of all of life and go along with life and surrender to what is going on in life? Can we, individually and collectively be willing to understand and go along with the higher plan for our life? And understand that spirit and the universe is large and in charge, and we aren't. And it has, yes, we can be very, very steadfast and stubborn and committed and determined in our goals, but ultimately we're not the ones in charge. The ones in charge are, God or higher power in the universe and all that. So can we trust that whatever path we go down, whatever direction that we go in, whoever we meet is for our highest good? We must flow and adapt to that in order to feel true peace and actual contentment and groundedness in our life. And the change will lead to greater peace because you're leaning into it, you're integrating it, you're not resisting it. That's what Taurus can learn through Scorpio, is being comfortable with change. Now, during this time, we seek to achieve material security. Taurus is concerned with the material world. And so we want to achieve, what is, this, Mars is entering Taurus just 2 days after the Taurus new moon. So Taurus is about material security. Having enough money, having a nice house, a stable house, having enough food, making enough food, having the material pleasures, a bed, a pillow, a chair, clothes, food, all these simple pleasures. The focus is on the simple during this time. And, we want things to last for the long term, during this time, as I've spoken out. We want comfort. This is the time to really, really hunker down and focus on living a life of peace and security and comfort, not necessarily wanting change, or wanting something different than that. We want to feel secure and comfortable in our own skin, and we don't want to take risks. Taurus is not an energy which is about taking risks. It is about being comfortable, doing what you're doing, and enjoying what you're doing, and doing something that brings yourself peace, brings yourself a sense of groundedness and stability. So with this transit, you have strong physical needs. The strong physical need to attend to your body, attend to your health, give yourself enough food, give yourself enough, water to drink, take care of your health, take care of your, your body, and all of that. I just realized I was thirsty, so I took a drink of water. So, strong physical needs, and honoring those needs, and we are steadfast. And steadfast simply means, we are determined to pursue something. When it comes to purpose and what we're passionate about and a goal or whatever, we're determined we're not going to give up. We're feeling more productive at this time. We're feeling like we want to do things, like we want to act on things, like we want to make things happen. We want to take action. We want to put the work in, because Taurus is an earth sign. Earth signs want to feel like they're being of use, want to feel productive. They're actually about, like, earth signs are about, don't just talk about it, don't just think about it, actually do it and make it a reality and manifest it in your reality. Earth signs are the manifestors. They make sure, and they are all about taking your ideas and goals and plans and visions and actually making them a reality by focusing on details, focusing on building up the wealth, focusing on all these material things to make it have substance and weight. Earth signs want something with value and substance, and they want to see all the results of all the hard work that they put in. So, they're very, very productive. Earth, Taurus is very, very productive energy. And so, moving at a deliberate pace. Taurus is a very, very deliberate sign. Because it is, does things, doesn't do things half-assed. It doesn't do things just impulsively, carelessly, recklessly, without thought, without awareness, without wisdom. I think that Taurus is very, very wise. Taurus is a very, very wise sign because, with whatever it does, it thinks about it. It mulls it over for a long time. It thinks about it and it really, really processes it, for a very, very long time before it acts on it. It sits on something for a very, very long time, and it considers it. It mulls it over. It thinks about, is this really right for me? Will this deliver me these results? is this aligned with my values? Like Taurus asks themselves spiritually, maybe unconsciously, but maybe naturally, ask themselves those questions. And they move at a deliberate pace because they act deliberately. They act with intentionality. They act with purpose. Whatever they do, whatever Mars and Taurus does, it is on purpose. They do something on purpose. They do something with intention and deliberation. So it's also important to balance work. It's very, very important to focus on the simple pleasures of life. Music that you really, really like to listen to. That brings warmth and nurturing and peace to your soul. Art that you really, really like. Art that's beautiful to you. Good food that you can prepare, that you can enjoy from somebody else preparing it for you. Good food, nature, getting outside, taking a walk, and doing all that. Balancing work with this is very, very important. And, being grounded in your values also. Being really, really grounded in those values. In all of your values. Knowing your values, knowing what's most important to you. And the definition for values, they actually are beliefs and principles, as it says here with AI is saying this, that really, really guide, what we do, what we act upon, what decisions we make, what really feels right. What really, really feels right to us. And because that's what we value. What we do from our intuition is what we value. So there, we're tying it together. Yeah. So that is what values are. So be grounded in those values. And when it comes to relationship, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, it's not only is Venus about values, but it's about relationship. Is the person that you are relating to in your life, family, friends, at work, whatever, do you truly value them? And do they truly value you? That's a question you can ask yourself. I did a video today about somebody that I like in person, when it comes to his personality. Very, very supportive, very, very kind, very, very congenial, very, very friendly, very, we have the same, beliefs about things and everything like that, but not on social media. So, but I do value this person and I do want to get to know him better. And, again, separating out, as I made very, very clear in that video. Knowing, valuing the other person, asking yourself, do I really value this person? Do I really value this person with their characteristics, traits, qualities, attributes, talents, whatever, what they have to give, what they have to bring to the table, and vice versa. Do they value mine? Does this person really see my worth? Really see my value? Does this person really see what I'm good at and and see the full worth of what I have to give and what I can do? It's like asking yourself, do you see each other for who you both are in the relationship? And I think this person and I, we really, really do from the very, very first day meeting him. It's about getting things off your to-do list, done, focusing on the practical elements of life, getting those things done, feeling efficient with that, and then slowing down. During this time, you're meant to take your time. You're not meant to rush the process. You're meant to take your time with things. And, you're meant to really, really go slow and not rush the process, because that's what Taurus is. It's slow. It's steady. Doesn't rush. It doesn't do all of this. So you're meant to take your time, and when you take your time, you're showing that you love yourself when you take your time. When you're rushing and you're all compulsive and egoic and rushing very, very ambitiously and very, very compulsively and aggressively at something, then you're not loving yourself. You're not valuing yourself. So love yourself enough to take your time. Give yourself the space to take your time to do what you want to do. What you need to do. Take your time to make it the best that it can be, to put the most amount of time and the most amount of quality and care into what you are doing. And it's also money is set up in the way that it is so that we can be very, very clear on our values. And if we're just we have all the money in the world, that we're not clear on what we value. So you determine with money what you want to spend your money on. Taurus is money and physical resources, all those kind of things. The money is a tool for that. So what do you want to spend your money on during this time? And what don't you want to spend your money on? What in your life thing you're paying on a monthly basis, or something that is just not worth your values anymore, that you don't value, that you don't appreciate, that it doesn't feel right for you. I'm really, really asking yourself, what can I get rid of that I have to pay back in certain possessions that I don't need, that I don't value anymore? Actually, Scorpio North Node, let me tell you something about Scorpio North Node. They are here to get clear on their values. Because they are here to let go of the outdated values. They're here to find new values and get clear on new values. But it takes them to have to get rid of the stuff that's keeping them from expanding, keeping them from going, letting go and transforming to then feel a greater sense of self-worth, to feel a greater sense of contentment. So, so that's the North Node in Scorpio. So, so determining what you want to spend your money on. Money is here to help you see the value of things. See how valuable things actually are. And, which things are truly right for you, and, who you are, in your identity, and, in your values reflects, what you spend your money on reflects, your own personal values and sense of self-worth, and, what you want to sort of decorate your life with, and what you want to put into your life and add to your life and make possible in your life in that kind of way. And which things are not valuable to you. So, can you, see how really valuable things are, and enjoying the affection with partners. Enjoying, the final point that I want to make here is, enjoying spending time with partners, being very, very affectionate, being very loving, being very caring, being very, very kind, showing your love, spending quality time with this person, with the essential pleasures that this person can give you. Not so much emotional stuff, but the essential, earthly experience of being with somebody that you care about. That's a simple pleasure. Being with the people that you care about and love is a simple pleasure, and Taurus rules the simple pleasures. So, enjoy the love with the people in your life. Spend time with them. Spend quality time with them. Because they really, really do make life worth living. Relationships is really, really huge to make life worth living. And relationships is also part of Venus energy. The planet Venus and its qualities. So thank you so much for tuning into this part 1 of Mars and Taurus. Tune in for part 2 of Mars and Taurus tomorrow, where I discuss how Mars and Taurus, how can you be impacted, and what do you need to know to grow and and evolve and become the best version of yourself for your sun, moon, and rising sign, based off of your sun, moon, and rising sign for Mars and Taurus, between these dates of May 18th and June 28th. So tune in for that video tomorrow. And anyway, let's hope that I don't have any problems again that I had. I don't know what happened. It was probably a fluke. Well, I won't, and I'm going to say that because I won't. Anyway, I will see you in the next episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast. Take very good care of the beautiful beings that you are, and so will I.